Disgraced 1619 project author Nikole Hannah-Jones is reportedly denied tenure by UNC. Penn State cancels using the terms junior and senior because it apparently upholds the patriarchy or something. And in our top story of the week, a school apparently canceled classes over an argument about the Paw Patrol cartoon. This is what it's come to. I'm Addison Smith, and this is the Campus Countdown. Our number 3 story of the week is overall a pretty wholesome story. You know Nikole Hannah-Jones, right? The famed quote-unquote journalist who authored the debunked ahistorical 1619 project. Well, UNC was attempting to tenure her, a process that usually takes several years for professors. But after criticism from other academics, the university reportedly reversed course on offering Hannah-Jones this tenureship. But according to the report, Jones will still work as a professor for a fixed 5-year term. That is the con to all of this. Campus Reform has the report. The University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill is reportedly refraining from giving New York Times' Nikole Hannah-Jones a tenure spot in the school's journalism department after widespread criticism. As Campus Reform recently reported, the University of North Carolina's Hussman School of Journalism and Media tapped Hannah-Jones to serve as night chair in race and investigative journalism. However, the University of North Carolina reportedly reversed its decision to offer Hannah-Jones tenure. After citizens wrote the university and groups like James G. Martin Center for Academic Renewal pointed out that the university's ambiguous hiring policy could allow academics to receive tenure without trustee approval, NC Policy Watch revealed that the school, quote, changed its plans to offer her tenure. Instead, she will work as a professor for a fixed 5-year term, and after which she could be reviewed for a tenured position. So the good news is that she was denied tenure. The bad news is she's still going to have a 5-year deal with the school. And for what? She's not a journalist. She's an activist, and a radical one at that. She's not a professor, so being tenured should have never been part of the conversation at all. But what has Hannah-Jones done to deserve a professor position at any school? Is the stipulation now for being an American professor that your most notable work has to be an anti-American revisionist history about how terrible your country is and how much you hate it? That's the bar you have to get over now to be praised and dubbed a night chair in investigative journalism? She's done nothing at all to deserve this but spit on the country that has made her both rich and famous, and she's being rewarded with more riches, more fame, and the opportunity to indoctrinate the next generation of Americans with lies and fairy tales. But hey, at least she's not being tenured, though we'll see how long that is before that changes. Our number 2 story of the week is a really exciting one. You know, we are making steps each day to overcome the patriarchal systems in America, and the faculty at Penn State are leading that initiative for us. Peace be upon them. The Penn State Faculty Senate passed an inclusive language reform since the school grew from a, quote, typically male-centered world. The resolution urges the university change all written materials with the junior-senior label because it is, quote, parallel to Western male father-son naming structures. The resolution asserts that terms such as freshman are decidedly male-specific, while terms such as upperclassmen can be interpreted as both sexist and classist. Terms such as junior and senior are supposedly parallel to Western male father-son naming conventions, and much of our written documentation uses he-she pronouns. My God. We suggest that the university consider changes to all written materials, including recruiting materials, admissions materials, scholarship information, housing materials, and other outward-facing documents, internal documents, and websites, the resolution states. It also suggests departing from the use of academic grouping titles that stem from a primary male-centric academic history in course descriptions and degree program descriptions. For instance, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior would be replaced with first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. Hey, I mean, this is great, but my only problem with this is I don't think it goes far enough. Might I suggest that we change human to Hugh person? But then again, if we do that, there's still son in that, so we can just change it to Hux or something like that. We need to change management to individualagement. And here's one that's always triggered me personally. Frosty the Snowman. I mean, my God, we've spent years as a society collectively assuming Frosty's pronouns and assigning him male-gendered terms, binary terms. Has anyone ever asked Frosty how he feels about this? We have a long way to go, is my point, but I think that this right here is a good start by Penn State. In our top story of the week, I would say this is on a more serious note, but that would be almost impossible if you read the headline. We'll treat it serious nonetheless. Classes are reportedly canceled following a Paw Patrol police dispute. This is a cartoon, by the way. Cypress College in California is facing backlash for an incident in which an adjunct professor berated a student who argued that it is acceptable to show police characters in children's shows. The instructor has been placed on leave, but the faculty union issued an open letter to the college saying that it did not do enough to protect the instructor. You remember that video a few weeks ago of the student who defended police to his annoying berating professor during class? This is the kid. So this class has apparently been canceled because the kid had the nerve to say, maybe police aren't as bad as my professor is saying they are. Campus Reform has the report. A local faculty union in Southern California is speaking out against Cypress College, after it placed an instructor on leave for antagonizing a student in class over his pro-police views. In order to emphasize the severity of the situation, the union noted that classes were canceled following the incident. Campus Reform reported on the original incident, which began when a student gave a presentation on cancel culture, which mentioned the attempted cancellation of Paw Patrol, a children's show whose main character is a dog police officer. The instructor refocused the communications class on the student's opinion of the police, launching into a rant captured on video. She added, quote, "A lot of police officers have committed atrocious crimes and have gotten away with it and have never been convicted of any of it." The student defended his position calmly, saying, quote, "This is what I believe. This is not popular to say, but I do support our police, and we have bad people, and the people who do bad things should be brought to justice. I agree with that." Cypress released a public statement that read, "Cypress College takes great pride in fostering a learning environment for students where ideas and opinions are exchanged as a vital piece of the educational journey. Our community fully embraces this culture. Students often defend one another's rights to express themselves freely, even when opinions differ. Any efforts to suppress free and respectful expression on our campus will not be tolerated." The faculty union, however, must disagree. They too released a statement. Quote, "This harm undoubtedly has a disproportionate impact on BIPOC faculty and other minorities, as they are more likely to become targets of white supremacist organizations, news outlets, and individuals. The failure to issue a clear and strong statement of support for the faculty under the existing circumstances is failure to be anti-racist. It is failure to protect our most vulnerable faculty." Okay, so in short, the professor talks about how police are evil and terrible, a student disagrees, the teacher berates him for it in front of the class, the school comes out and says they support free expression of opinions, and then the faculty union says because of that, the school's racist. I know that sounds almost too stupid to believe, but that's almost exactly what's happening. Now let's get to our woke tweet of the week. Columbia University social work professor Anthony Zinkis had this to say about the country that has given him a job at an Ivy League school and presumably a roof over his head. I don't think there's a homeless guy scrambling for cash with a prestigious teaching position. But anyways, here's him expressing great appreciation for his country. Quote, "The only thing exceptional about America is our callous disregard for brown people and poor people at home and abroad." Okay, this tweet is just patently untrue. As far as it goes here in America, I will personally send this professor my next paycheck if he can show me a better country to live in if you're a minority or a poor person and give a coherent explanation as to why. I'm just saying there's a reason why people around the world are scrambling in masses to immigrate here. I know many people who come from immigrant families. One of my best friends' grandparents came from Cuba. They escaped communist Cuba. You couldn't pay them enough money in the world to go back. And what about the claim of disregard for minorities and poor people abroad? We take in more immigrants than any other country in the world. Last year, we sent $47 billion in aid to other countries. And we've been sending tens of billions of dollars for years now. It's just a patently absurd lie from this professor. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. As always, make sure you're following us at Campus Reform on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.